now. Why is this thing? Yes. And we're live. Welcome, people. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are. We had some tech trouble, so sorry for being a little bit late, but welcome to this new episode of All Mom interview series where I'm going to talk with Kerstin Kirchsteiger. Do I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Kirsten is a scientist turned coach, and now because of all the tech stuff, I totally forgot your title. So please forgive me, but Kirsten, let us know who you are and what you do.
So I help, excuse me, it's very early where I am, so I haven't talked a lot. So excuse
That's
my
okay,
voice.
no problem.
So I help working moms or moms in general go from chaos and conflict in their home to calm and confidence by bringing their family together as a team where they look at each individual, who their individual is they work with or they have in the family and learn to leverage their strengths. And so with this, you avoid power struggles and you reach you reach a point of harmony in your family that a
Oh,
lot
that
of
sounds
moms are seeking.
absolutely amazing because I know we struggled with that as well, that you um, try to find a way for your kids to listen and behave in a certain way without becoming a sergeant kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Uh,
yeah.
okay. And this is what I do. Like, I help the parents and the moms connect on a deeper level through emotional intelligence. So I am an emotional intelligence coach, and I used to do assessments and leadership training in companies. And being a mom, I just, in those trainings, we were teaching adults how to have authentic conversations, how to show up as your whole self, how to be vulnerable. And I thought, oh my, I mean, this is what we are doing in our family. And so why now I'm going in to teach adults, why not take this and use it and teach it to the young already so that they are prepared for life. And it also helps the mom, you know.
Oh, I'm sure of that. And the younger we start, the better it is, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So, um, you talk about I'm a emotional intelligence coach. For me, it sounds like something obvious, but what is emotional intelligence? Could you explain a bit more about that?
Emotional intelligence basically means that you learn to recognize your emotions and becoming aware that whether you want it or not, the way our brain is wired, our emotions influence our decisions, our behavior, and our performance. Like in the corporate world, we say performance, but it is hardwired into our brain. It's how our brain works. Our emotional brain makes millisecond decisions. Like any situation that you face,
Yeah.
you get a tag of a threat or a reward. And then if you're aware of this, so if you have high emotional intelligence, you can learn to react, to respond rather than to react to those situations, which means that you most likely will be more level-headed. You won't escalate conflict so much because you can, you become self-aware and you can step away.
Awesome. Which is something probably a lot of us moms can use from time to time when dealing with children.
Yes.
I know well, when I was still very depressed, I would, uh, I probably would say like my emotional intelligence was a bit lower than it's now. Like I've worked a lot on self care, emotional care, self love, that kind of thing. So I recognize a lot in what you say, like you respond rather than to react. What made you decide, because you've been a scientist and now you are an emotional intelligence coach? What's the story there? What did you make the change?
It's a long story. So yeah, when I am a scientist. I get scolded if I say I was a scientist because I still think analytically. I still did everything, but it basically came through motherhood. An alarming 40% of women in STEM, in science, technology, engineering, and math, they drop out of the workforce once they have kids, and I couldn't do that in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a postdoc assignment, so I had to finish that. However, once I was done, I was like, I don't want to go back to the lab. I don't want to work weekends. I don't want to work like 50, 60 hours a week.
No.
I want to see my kids. And then, I became a stay-at-home mom for a little while because of the visa issues. We're in the States and I'm from Europe, so we were dependent on the visa that I was not allowed for some time. So I became a stay-at-home mom. And while in the beginning it was nice, I started craving adult conversations. I started, just feeling overwhelmed with the day to day and barely surviving. But I also needed more connection with adults. I needed to have conversations, and I've been trying to learn how to parent. So I've been doing a lot of online summits, parenting summits. And I met one girl and we became friends, online friends. I've never, since to today, I have never met her personally. And so we started chatting about, hey, I want to do something again, but I can't put my finger on what it is. I can't. And so I started working with a coach. And then later, that friend, I asked her, hey, what do you think about this? And she said, you will be amazing at this. And so I took the same training that she did for the same assessment company. And like I said, when I was sitting in those trainings, I was like, oh my goodness, it is true. I've been using most of these tools for so long already. And it felt really like a good fit.
So
Yeah.
that's where you decided, I'm going to coach in this.
Yes. And with COVID, so I was going to start out in the corporate space for women in science because that's, well, first of all, I was better connected, but also I wanted to change, like if I could change the corporate culture in science to a better culture, women or parents could be more successful and climbing the ranks. So that was my first goal. But then with COVID, I was at home and I noticed on LinkedIn, I noticed a lot of parents struggling with having their kids home all the time. And they were not used to it. And we are homeschoolers, so we know what it is like to spend all day all
Oh,
day long with your
you
kids.
already did the homeschooling, like
Yes,
before.
we did homeschooling before.
Oh,
So we knew what it was like. And if you spend so much time together, you have to work out how to live together. And so I started
yes.
writing blog posts about this. And this is how I started shifting from the corporate space to the family space. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think a lot of mothers that are watching resonate with being a stay-at-home mom, missing the adult part of your life, because I remember very well that I was like, if is this going to be the rest of my life, changing diapers and having baby talk and things like that, and it was driving me nuts at one point. So um, and you just started out like online and like getting in touch with emotional intelligence.
Yeah. The first training I did was completely virtual. The second one was in person, and that was actually not the first time. It was the second time that I had been away from my family for. Well, it was actually the first time overnight, but the second time that I had taken a training because I also did a yoga teacher training before, and those were weekends where I had to be in the studio all day long. and my husband covered for me, and it was the first time that he did that, and it felt so good to be away and to get a little bit of breathing time, and yeah, just to use your brain again. Like, it's a
Yes,
different way of using your brain, right? And what,
absolutely.
as a stay-at-home mom, what drove me really nuts was going to playgrounds and seeing other moms. Mostly there's very few stay-at-home dads here where I am.
Yeah,
um, and going to the playground, and they would ask, what's your child's name? And you're invisible. You're not even asked your name. You don't ask their names. And it's just so, now that I look back, I don't do that anymore. I introduce myself.
yeah.
But it was really frustrating to me,
That it
and I
was
think
all
it's,
about the children.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I resonate a lot with that because as a mother, I kind of lost, as a newly mom, I would say I lost my identity of who I was.
Yes.
I was a mom, like full out mom, housewife, wife, things like that, like cleaner. So now you know I don't like to clean. I still know, but it really is that part. So I really, and now you change from corporate to families as well, so you can help a lot of moms probably take the same steps as you did to make themselves visible again then probably.
It is my goal, and I think part of why I am so, I love what I do, because when I see the change in the women, oftentimes the women I work with, or the moms, they don't believe in themselves enough. They don't, they're like, and like I mean, the early years where kids are really, really young, it's difficult because they have so many needs that it is really difficult to think even, right? At
Yeah,
that stage, you're just barely surviving. Especially, for example, your partner works out of the home. I mean, I know, I remember I was at 5:30, I was already ready to check out, and I couldn't. And if my husband came back 10 minutes later, I was already in an explosive mode.
yeah.
So I was really being triggered. I could not do 5 more minutes of muttering. At times I was
I
so
so
exhausted.
recognize that.
Yes. And then it leads to conflict. It's for nothing, because your husband has not done anything wrong. There might have been
No,
more traffic, or but it's just, you're so at the end of your energy and at the end of your wits, that is really challenging. So I've been there. When the kids get older, it's, the other thing that I realized is, while my kids were young, any and all decisions that I took, like I said, I was doing a lot of parenting summits and stuff, so I was educating myself. My husband was totally on board with all the decisions, because it was kind of like, well, you're the mom.
yeah.
When my kids started school age, like kindergarten, our son started struggling with school,
Hmm.
and he started to show school refusal. Now we know why, but at that time we went to the school, we talked to them, and we decided to keep going the whole school year. But at the end of the school year, we decided to homeschool. Now looking back, I would have pulled him out immediately.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was the best. We were still informing ourselves about homeschooling. Now, at that age, my husband suddenly had much stronger opinions.
And
Suddenly, my
that
kid
this was in
was
what age? It was like 4 or 5 years?
kindergarten,
Yeah,
5, 6,
5, 6. Okay.
5, because it was about the education. So in his mind, he had more, not authority, but more knowledge, and he was more comfortable to step up and take decisions as well,
Yeah,
which led to more conflict between us, because I was like, we will figure out homeschooling their kids. School is not the most important part of life.
exactly.
um, and so on. So a lot of we had to figure out a lot of things between us, and I had to learn how to speak up more, how to step. And I say that mom is a leadership position, and some moms
Oh,
criticize that,
definitely.
but it totally is, because you are looking, you have a vision in mind where you want your kids to be, where you want your family to be. You are looking for solutions. You know your team players better than anybody else, than any expert.
Absolutely.
Although oftentimes we are told differently
Yes.
by pediatricians, by, but I think that you know your kids best. And so, but as the kids get older, your partner might step up and, and say, hey, no, this is how we should do this. And, or there might be fear. Like for my husband, it was a lot of fear of failing our kids. And so I had to learn how to speak up more. I had to learn how to speak up for myself more, because like I said, the first time that I was away was, I think my daughter was a little under a year. My son was a little under 4 at that time. It was the first time where I took the yoga teacher training, where I was away for a whole day.
So after
And
4 years after becoming a mom, that would be your
yes,
first thing. Yeah.
yes. And so I had to learn that if I don't ask for space and time, they're not giving it to me. So
Yeah.
I had to learn how to become that leader that speaks up for herself too. And this is the part that I'm really passionate about, because I see so many moms complaining that the partner doesn't do the dishes, or they don't do. It is creating conversations about this. It is giving opportunities to make them, our mental load. We often talk about the mental load in motherhood, and that it's an invisible load. Make it visible.
Yeah.
Just speak about it, and let them step in, because oftentimes they don't, it's not on their radar. It's not that they don't want to help us, they just don't know
They
that it
don't think
has to be
about it.
done.
No. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I, because I know from my marriage, like communication is absolutely the key to stay sane and married.
yeah,
But I also remember feeling so anxious, probably, to talk about, because I already was so stressed out about the things. I was annoyed by my husband for not seeing those things by himself. Like I remember very well, like telling him, like, I'm able to see those things. Why aren't you able to see those things? It's not that I've been a mother all of my life. I'm figuring this out. So but I'm very emotional and passionate when it comes to those things. So I really had to learn. So what would you advise a mother to do because when you're in the moment and in the stress and in the annoyment, and the washing piles up, and the wash load, like your dryer is full and kids' rooms are messy. Like, it's good that you don't see half of my room now because it's messy, but I don't care. That'll come later. But all of those things piling up, getting the emotions high, what would you advise to moms how to deal with that? Because I know from my husband, when I speak passionately, he's tuning out, like, completely.
yeah. I think there's a lot of things in there. I think it is expectations. You probably have different expectations. It also is looking at your husband, like he's a different person. So
Yeah.
if you learn more about who he is, how he functions, and how he works, that might help. Setting expectations around what needs to be done. What I like to do is I like to send the couples on a scavenger hunt, like identify everything that needs to be done on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, and then rate it towards, is it very important,
Oh, I
a
like
little
that. Yeah.
bit, or not important at all? And then who would you like to take on this task? So everybody gets a choice, and then you compare yours, and then you see, there might be already things that are clear that one and the other will be taking on. It is non-confrontational because you give choices, right? And the others that are not so clear, I think if you have the possibility to outsource some tasks, we have cleaning ladies coming again now after the bulk of COVID is done, right? So it helps to outsource what you can outsource. And I like to include my kids. So we started out with Montessori. So in Montessori, you teach life skills and you set the home up so they can do a lot of things independently. And part of it is like how to clean up your room, how to, my kids fold laundry and put it away. So there are some scaffolding tools that can help them. So you set expectations with your kids.
Yeah.
And then, the older the kids get, my daughter has been folding her laundry since age 3. So
Oh, wow.
they can do it.
Mine is 6.
Yeah.
So I can
Time to.
start with that.
Now it might be harder to teach though, because at 6 they want to be more, they push back more. At 3
Yep.
they're really proud, and so now she's been doing it for so long that it's become part of her day, or once a week.
I can try it out though, because I don't know what happened this morning, but she asked to do chores. Like, I
Nice.
like cleaning, Mom. Can I do some cleaning? I'm like,
Yes.
hell yeah.
Yeah, they can. So use your kids, and they learn life skills. They feel empowered. They feel part of the family by helping.
Yeah, that's so
Um,
true. We forget
another
that
layer would
sometimes as moms, probably.
yes, and
We
another
want to do it
layer.
all on our own.
Yes. Another layer would be to think about the conversations that you don't have, how they affect your
Ooh,
relationship. Because, like you said, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're resentful. You think they should see, they don't love me because they don't help me, but they might not know. So, even if it might be a difficult conversation to have, it's important to have those. And they usually will help your relationship grow stronger rather than damage, because the resentment will damage much more.
absolutely.
So, so, so that's one. And then the last, yeah. So if you're really in the midst of your emotional feelings, I would say one tool that we usually teach is how to invite a pause. So how to step away, for example, saying, even when it's with your kids, or whoever triggers you in the moment and you're feeling like you're gonna explode, taking deep breaths, um, counting backwards like a rocket launch. And those are tools that you can teach your kids. You can do them in front of them aloud so they learn them, or they pick them up. And what I also do when I'm really, really triggered, I say, okay, I'm going to go. I don't want to talk about this right now. I'm going to go step away. I'm going to go to my room, and I'll come back out when I'm ready to talk.
Yeah.
So those are from emotional intelligence, those are the tools that you would use to de-escalate a situation.
Yeah, I think those are amazing tips you just gave there, but also it makes me think, like, as moms, and I don't want to generalize, like, there's exceptions, and I had to learn this as well, but we tend to believe that we have to be this super mom who does everything, while when we share or when we freak out and we just literally, like, most of the times I literally take a step back and start breathing. And when I first started to do that, my kids were like, "Mommy, what are you doing?" They were looking at me like I was crazy, and I was like, "I just need to breathe. Leave me alone." Mommy needs a minute. But that's not something you get taught when you become a mother. Like, you have to figure that stuff out until someone tells you, like, you can do that, you're allowed to. And then you're like, oh, yes, I am, because we're free to do so, and we don't have to do it all on our own. So I absolutely love those tips you gave me and everyone, because those are very well, very handy for day-to-day life. Let's just say that. So that's absolutely awesome. So my little girl is at the front door. She's coming back from her play date, but they're in the playground now. So we have a few minutes left. Um, where can people find you when they are like, oh, Kerstin is definitely someone I want to talk more with or maybe work with? Where can people find you?
Okay, so I do have a podcast that's called Work Life Flow, where I mostly do guest interviews because I think it's nice to hear different stories and to hear different tools.
Yeah, I'm with you
So
on that.
yeah. um, so Work Life Flow is the podcast, and you can find it on all platforms. And then I have my website is www.kerstinkirchsteiger, so first name last name.com. And if you go type in / checklists, I created checklists for my kids to get ready on their own, so I don't have to pack their bags. And they're visual because I had a late reader, so there's a picture and the word, and
Oh, I love
my
that.
kids learn to get ready by themselves. And if you get those, they're editable, so you also get the Google sheet where you can add more and you can personalize it to your needs.
Oh, awesome. So that's like a checklist for you to help you to get your kids ready in the morning.
For the kids to get ready in the morning.
Yeah,
Yes, because
to
I
help
was so
you to get your
frustrated.
kids getting themselves ready.
Yes. Or for sports, for example, we use it for sports. We use it for traveling because we travel quite a bit. They pack their own suitcases. For
I love
example, I
that.
have one for camping because we are an outdoorsy family. So I made a the camping checklist. They pack their bags, I pack the food, and my husband packs the rest because I made a checklist for him because it was all on
I
me.
like that.
It was all on me, and I was like, no, this is what we need to pack, and yeah,
Oh my God, and now my neighbors are starting to drill in the wall as well. This is one day.
this is life.
Well, oh, my daughter needs to pee. Just 1 second and I will be back to wrap this. Well, this is mom life, isn't it?
It is. It is. Mine are sleeping, so this is why there's no interruptions. But I have a daughter who loves to come on video.
And she would be allowed to. Like, we had some, well, I had one interview where there was a little girl and she was proudly showing off her own written book, which was amazing. So I love that kind of stuff. Like, my
Yes.
daughter is right here. Zeg maar,
Hi.
hello everybody. Hello everybody. Oké, mama is bijna klaar, oké? Even voorzichtig. Heel goed. So, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
So,
I think it's good that we normalize those things because
me too.
remember back in COVID when it started, how everybody was embarrassed that the kids would interrupt meetings. I mean, this is life. Our
Yes.
work and our life is not so separated as we think.
I like to blend them in as well. I try to separate them, but it's not and I don't like it. I don't like to be much different in my work than I am as a mother. So
Yeah.
we are getting comments from Didi, so helpful for all mommies everywhere. Absolutely, Didi. Thank you so much. So, Kerstin, I'm going to repeat the websites www.kerstinkirchsteiger.com and then /
Checklist.
checklists for the checklist when you want to help your kids getting ready for them to get ready. So I love the sound of that. So I'm going to check those out. And if you want to talk to Kerstin or find her, she is on all the platforms. So Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn. Is there any YouTube? Is your podcast on YouTube as well?
No, it is Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. I think in Europe, Spotify is bigger than Apple. So,
Oh,
yeah.
awesome. I need to check that out as well.
And I am on Instagram. It's my first name _ last name. So I am there too.
Awesome. So if you want to check out, find her website, find her on social media, and she will get back to you. Kerstin, I love this interview. Thank you so much.
Thanks
And
for
I'm
having
wishing
me.
you a great day. It's
It's
crazy.
life.
But thank you so much and have an amazing day.
Yes, you too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.